All right, this is the copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. And this video is not for any monetary gain. It is explicitly for the reasons stipulated in the Copyright Act of 1976 under Section 107.
Your ladies that you don't want to fucking deal with men at all, then we should talk
Yeah, we
about
don't
that.
want to deal
But
with
if
black men at all.
I
okay,
love
Period.
all
That's what
men
I
and
say.
not black men, just not
okay.
black men.
Well, is there any women here who don't want to deal with men, period, or is it just black men, or is it a mixture?
It's just black men, and we actually want non-black men's help in these corrections that you speak of.
So what are the corrections that you're looking for specifically?
Force, force, because that's the only thing that's gonna work.
But I mean, what are you looking for black men to arrive at? A place of understanding of like what do you want to see
Well, me
We
change?
believe that there
personally,
is no hope for them. That we don't believe in changing their minds. We don't. But I'm trying not to say what I really want to say because you're on stage. But if they could not exist, hey, we wouldn't be mad at.
I think for me, I think I want the coddling culture to kind of stop. I think they get validated a little bit too much and they're not held accountable as much as white men, Hispanic men, Asian men. Like the legal system works in their benefit a little bit more than they think it does. They're seen as the ultimate, like most oppressed. And I think that that coddling culture needs to stop and they need to be held accountable for their actions.
Because we
Yeah.
live in white male patriarchy, white men set what's socially acceptable. So, with you all setting what's socially acceptable, the degenerate behavior of black male culture needs to be checked, and there needs to be more because we're no longer looking for accountability from them because they've proven that they will not take accountability. We need the men who set the culture to make them take accountability by exacting some sort of consequence for perpetrating behaviors that are not socially acceptable because you all create the socially acceptable behavior.
Giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching me this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners and you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Ayashar Barazar from the Indianapolis branch of the Great Millstone, coming back at you with another lesson that is edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. And, well, uh, the leadership, you know, the elders all over GMS have been telling us over and over and over again, you know, leave that black woman alone. Leave her alone. I mean, you know, they just it's clearly said they don't want to deal with the black man, you know, and actually going to her enemy for help. All right. And the help she's asking for is for the annihilation, the eradication of the Israelite man. All right. So, you know, you brothers, you know, hey, I'll just echo what has been said from the top. You know, if uh, don't deal with them. You know, it's one thing if you got a wife and you know that is cool and everything right now. Hey, handle that. But as far as starting a relationship, you see what they are thinking. All right. This is the book of Micah, chapter 7, beginning at verse 9. And it says, I will bear the indignation of the Lord because I have sinned against him. All right. And that indignation is his righteous anger. You know, why? Because we sin, we transgress the law, you know, and he said he's going to bear that. How is he going to bear that? Praying, fasting, repenting. Okay. Because we're in this sinful flesh, even his servants, you know, his servants and prophets, you know, the creature is subject to vanity. You know, we subject to sin. But you know, the thing is, we hold ourselves accountable for it. All right. It says, because I have sinned against him until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. All right. Now, what's that judgment? He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. All right. He's going to impart that wisdom, you know, give him that light to guide him to that immortality. All right. But that's what this, you know, that's what this is. He's talking to an elect man right here, not just any old man. All right. An elect man from the one of the 12 tribes of Israel. All right. And this woman, women on that call are going directly to the enemy who eventually will destroy them too. But that's cool. You know, those they're gonna be, you know, like it says, a wicked woman is given to the is given to a wicked man. All right. Now what's they both gonna die. So all right, but yeah, that was, you know, I did a video similar to this. I want to say about 3 years ago, and this one is fairly new. So they calling for the same thing. All right. It says verse 10, then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her which said unto me, where is Yahweh thy power? Yeah. Eve, after she's gonna realize that she fucked up when she said stuff like that. Because the Lord is only dealing with his people, the nation of Israel. We show you that every week. You know, Joel chapter 2, verse 27. He says he's in the midst of Israel and none else. The law, statutes, and commandments were only given to the nation of Israel. All right. That's Psalms 147, verses 19 and 20, as well as Leviticus chapter 26, verses 44 through 46. All right. And now that that's established, so what's the order? 1 Corinthians 11 and 3, you know. It's Yahweh Shai, the Israelite man who was in the image of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and then the woman. So that man is her covering. The Israelite man is her covering. All right. And then, you know, notice it says, she said unto me, where is Yahweh thy power? That's Lord in all caps. So she knows the name of the Lord. If you know the name of the Lord, you're supposed to know everything else that's expected of you. So what this is saying is, she asking where he is, she don't believe. All right. Can end up with a similar situation. I was gonna say like Lot's wife, but no, Eve's gonna you know, gonna be part of that judgment that, you know, involves nukes, you know, spirits of vengeance, famine, death, destruction. Because you can't get away from this. I mean, there's a whole lot said that they, you know, just totally have no reverence for, you know, men of the Lord, you know. And I'm not saying that that they were all men of the Lord they were dealing with, um, that caused them to feel the way they do, but that statement was a microcosm. I mean, that was not a microcosm. Her statement was for all of the so-called black men. All right, all of them. So that would include those who are of the hopeful elect. All right. Then it goes on. It says, "Mine eyes." This is the elect man saying, "Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets, like mud, flattened, splattered, because of her damn mouth and that unbelief, but more so her mouth." This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, again in verse 36. And these are red letter, the words of Yahushua. He said, "But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment." So all this stuff they were saying, trusting in the enemy, calling for the death of a fellow Israelite, they're going to have to give account for that. It says, "For by thy words thou shalt be justified." All right, that's the elect man. He said he would bear the indignation of the Lord until he pleads his call. All right, and he saw what happens. He's going to give him that light, and he's going to behold his righteousness. All right, verse 37. "For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned." And a lot of Eves, are going to be condemned to death. All right. You're not supposed to be calling for the death of a fellow Israelite. That's in the law. All right. Let me grab that, or wishing harm on them. Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 18. And it reads, "Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh Bashem Yahushai." Let me get that in the NLT. All right. Leviticus 19 and 18 in the NLT. It says, "Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against a fellow Israelite, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am Yahweh Bashem Yahushai." So yeah, that's a heavy grudge, and we know it's been proven. We see it every day. She's talking about the Jake men are not taking accountability. We know that so-called black woman. I'm not saying all of them, but the majority of the time they are not going to take accountability, and they will be adamant in their response to make sure they are shown in the best light, even though that they lie. All right, that's just the case. So yeah, what did she say? She wanted them to enforce punishment, so she gonna trust in them. This is looking to the so-called white man for help, and he's destroying your ass right now too. All right. Yeah, man. Brothers are talking about this a lot more frequently. You can't wait to get the fuck up out of here. And these women, need to be humbled. Need to be humbled. Just no respect for nothing. All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, beginning in verse 1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children." This is talking about all of Israel. Okay. That saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, "that take counsel, but not of me, that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin unto sin." All right. And who's the counsel come from? Okay. His servants, the prophets. We're the ones out on the highways and byways week in and week out, you know, showing our people their transgressions, trying to get them to ask for forgiveness and repent, you know, because the day of the Lord is near. All right. Just listening to a video today from my elder Apostle Nahar, and you know, we really, you know, we may have to go through 2026, but he, you know, doesn't believe we're gonna make it to 2027. You know, the way this devil is doing in the street now. All right, they're moving fast. All right, and it's women like this that in that day are not gonna have a covering. All right, the scriptures say that we will be a covering, according to Isaiah chapter 32, verses 1 through 3. All right, says that they may add sin unto sin. All right, calling for the death of Jake, you know, going to her enemy. All right, verse 2, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth. Who was his mouth? The prophets. Okay, he's been the Lord has spoken by the mouth of the prophets since the beginning. All right, he says to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. And we know Esau Edom is the modern day Pharaoh. Tells you that in Romans chapter 9. All right, he's a modern day Pharaoh, but they're going to trust in him. All right, and while you're doing that, you know, let's say if he was successful at getting rid of the Israelite man, all right, he's going to turn around and get rid of you. You know, like the scripture says, nothing new under the sun. You were his bed wench then, you will be his bed wench now. But when he's done with you, he's going to toss you to the side. All right, and you're going to be destroyed right along with him. This is the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 13 and verse 1. It says, he that toucheth pitch shall be defiled therewith, and he that hath fellowship with a proud man shall be like unto him. And we know Esau Edom is the most proud man. You know, tells you that in several places. You know, Proverbs 26, Proverbs 6. Okay, Isaiah 32. All right, tells you very clearly that he's a proud man, that wicked, you know, so proud that, you know, the Most High is not at all in his thoughts. You know, that's Psalms 10. All right, he thinks himself as the Most High. All right, get that in First Thessalonians, or what's the other one? Exalt himself above the stars, Isaiah 14. So yeah, it's very clear who that proud man is. It says, he that toucheth pitch shall be defiled therewith. And when you touch pitch is tar in modern day terms. You know, once you get that on you, it's very hard to get off. And if you are able to get it off of you, you're going to destroy yourself in the process. It's taking some flesh with it. You know, you go back to the story of the tarring and feathering. Yeah, that's what they did to Jake back in the day. You know, so yeah, you're going to be destroyed right along with Esau Edom. All right. What's that? Isaiah 13. Is it 15? I believe it's 15. Con. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. All right. And the sword, you know, in the scriptures, you know, modern day sword is the gun. The big one is the nuclear missile, but it's any instrument that brings a devastating harm or death. All right. Then it goes on, it says, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, their houses spoiled, and their wives ravished. Now, a so-called black woman here on Wife Today, she's thinking of Esau standards with a marriage license. No, whatever man you have slept with, you know, that's your husband. And saying is that, you know, you all run roughshod through other men, just like the woman in John chapter 8. You know, you've caused many to be adulterers, as well as you being an adulteress. Another reason, you know, for that sin, you know, that's going to get you, that sin is going to get you taken out, adultery. All right. So yeah, it says wives ravished. You're definitely somebody's wife if that man is still alive. All right. If he's still alive. So yeah, you're gonna have a hard problem. You calling for the death of a black man, and I'm proving to you right now is Proverbs 26 and 27, and it reads, "Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it shall return upon him." So while you so-called black women are planning the death of Jake, you know, you planning your own. You are planning your own. All right. But hey, once again, Akim, uh, uh, you know, it's been said all over, you know, GMS. You know, if you got a so-called a black woman, great. You know, and she's good to you, great, keep her. But trying to start something now with this mentality, nah, nah. They'll give you up in that day, you know, and cause all kind of problems for you. You know, very vindictive. You know, like the scriptures say. Let me look at that. With Sirach, I think it's 25 and 19. Khan. It says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Okay. Now, the very man that these women are asking help from are of the nation of Edom, who was created to be the wicked. All right. According to Malachi 1 and 4. All right. Created to be the wicked. Yet it says right here, even all that wickedness is but little to yours. That's because you're just like him. Just like it was in the garden. You're just like him. All right. Speaking of the garden, you know, uh, because of you, what's that? Verse 24, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. That's talking about Eve in the garden, dealing with the serpent. But that's not going to happen a second time around, especially in this stage of the game. The scriptures talk about that. Sirach 12, beginning at verse 13. It says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with the serpent? That's Eve. That serpent, Esau, Edom, once again. Or any such as come nigh wild beasts. All right. Verse 14. So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? Yeah. As you can see, even a so-called black man that don't have the truth is saying he ain't dealing with you. So you know the elect man is not going to. The Lord's not going to do that to us. He says that. All right. So no, we're not gonna feel sorry for you. You gotta bear the indignation of the Lord just like we are right now. But that's not gonna happen. That's why that scripture said you can be trodden down as a mire in the street. Yeah, you're gonna be running and screaming for help, and it's not gonna come. It's not gonna come. I think that was still in Sirach too. I want to say 25. I want to say 26, where it says, "A wicked woman is given to a wicked man, a godly woman." Let me see, 26, 16, 26 and 23. It says, "A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly man is given to him that feareth Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai." All right. So that, you being wicked, yeah, you may get a man in that day, but he ain't covered by the Lord, especially if you haven't repented. All right. Ask for forgiveness of your sins. It says, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. So once again, there's a few sisters who gonna get it right. Few sisters gonna get it right. But the Lord said, according to Zechariah 13, 8 and 9, 2/3 of our people are gonna be cut off and die. And the 1/3 are gonna be brought through the fire. You're gonna save that 1/3, which is the 144,000 and the innumerable multitude, according to Revelation 7. All right. 2/3. And we know it's more women on this earth than it is men. If you don't believe that, how in the world are we going to fulfill the first commandment? Be fruitful and multiply. It is lawful, if we were in our land, to have more than one wife. I'm not going to get off to another tangent, but yeah. So, hey, the Lord's coming to see y'all, you wicked women. You will be humble, but you have your mind to be right in the kingdom. You got to start back over, being a nutsack Israelite. Come back, because y'all not gonna change. All right. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. Once again, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and Israelite foreigners. To you, I say Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, Abba Babal. We got next. Shalom.